Well, I was really looking forward to our reunion episode this season, and then I opened up my TV guide tonight and I looked at the episode title and read Reunion Part 1. Oh, I was immediately turned off of this episode before we even got to the first couple. Why do they gotta milk this for 2 episodes? It's just a little ridiculous to me. There's not enough to talk about, even with Chris being Chris. We don't need 2 episodes. We don't need a montage of all the girls and going on vacations together. We don't need to milk out these conversations with the couple. Let's get our reunion. Let's get through it. And let's get out the door. Poor Jacob, he doesn't even make it into part 1. So now he has to share an episode with Chris to see how all of that plays out. Let's get into our couples. We might as well start off with Chris and Chris and Chris. You can just tell as soon as they start that interview with Paige and Chris, Paige looks miserable. This is just having to be in a room with a guy. Their relationship is done. Their relationship is over. And just being in proximity to this man it just makes her life pure hell. I don't understand Chris talking about that he wanted a third-party mediator to help their relationship. Like what is going on there? Like, clearly the relationship is done. Just move on, buddy. Carry on with your life. You can date all these supermodels apparently, and all these millions of beautiful women in Atlanta, excluding Paige, that you can just go out and get whenever you want. Go and get one then. You are an absolute joke. This being on this show has exposed you for the fraud and joke that you are. And all you have is scripted answers. And then when you run out of those scripted answers, all you have is temper tantrums to try to talk over people to prevent them from talking. You know what that scene with Pastor Dwight says to me? It says Pastor Dwight knew something that Chris does not want us to know. What that is, I don't know, but very, very interesting to see that and see how he behaved as soon as Dwight came out. You could even tell, Kevin was trying to get under Chris's skin. He was trying to antagonize Chris, and Chris kept it cool through all the questions that Chris had scripted answers for, kept it cool, but then he got that curveball he wasn't expecting when Pastor Dwight came out, and then we got to see the real Chris. That remorse he was trying to show really just totally evaporated as soon as an element that he wasn't ready for popped onto the screen. And then we end the episode with Chris wanting to fight Dwight. Like, isn't that like what you do when you're like in 4th grade and you don't know how to properly put your emotions and feelings out into the world? So if you're mad at somebody, you want to fight them, you want to throw down, you want to meet them in the parking lot. Like get real. It's 2021. You don't just have a disagreement with someone and then go fight them to settle it out. It's not how things are done anymore. Get with the times, get with reality, and get off our TV screens, Chris. Let's go over to our next couple, Eric and Virginia. I really hope that Eric was being genuine here, because, he's saying he did not like how he came across on TV, and he shouldn't, because he came across as a total a-hole, a total jerk, that he was trying to control Virginia and was just terrible. It was all season long, and that didn't feel like the same person that we saw tonight as we've seen all season long. Even during the season when we'd have those fake moments with Eric and the experts, or Eric around other people, this felt different to me tonight. and I really hope that it was genuine. But I kind of got the feeling that Eric's mom gave him a long, strongly worded talking to about his behavior on the show, and I'm guessing that he's had massive, massive, massive amounts of negative reactions to his behavior on the show, and hopefully he's genuine in how he's taken it all to heart, and that he's actually changed and wanted to change how he acts and behaves. Another interesting thing was all of a sudden Eric is not allergic to cats, or very slightly allergic to cats, when we're on family vacation 2.0 and Eric's talking about how he's going to be not be able to breathe if the cat's in the bed, and now he's just a little bit allergic, and once every couple weeks he has to take a pill. Like, yeah, you were full of it, and you just got caught out on that lie, buddy. Another interesting thing was Virginia having the false positive before the show aired. They were all talking about how it could have stolen them from their fate of meeting and blah blah blah, but really, like, if something had derailed that, they would have just moved on with their lives and never looked back. And honestly, I still feel like this is a couple destined for a divorce. When that's going to happen, I don't know. That's just how I feel about them. There's too many problems, too many differences. So, her actually getting COVID could have been you two just avoiding a very long, drawn-out, failed marriage. From Eric and Virginia, we jumped over to Clara and Ryan, and the interview tone changed dramatically. Eric and Virginia, they really got the softball questions. They had the weird twist of Eric's mom coming out. But overall, they got it very easy. When Ryan and Clara, they got grilled. It was almost like Kevin was just gearing up to get up the tenacity to really be able to grind out Chris in that interview that happened at the end of the episode. But it was definitely a very different feel, and Kevin definitely didn't pull any punches in the Ryan and Clara interview. But my first thing I noticed, and I'm sure it's what every single person who was watching noticed tonight, was, what the hell is on Ryan's face? Get rid of that thing. It's awful. And it just some personal advice to every man out there watching: don't have a mustache. Just don't do it. They're terrible. They're gross. They're disgusting. If you're thinking about having a mustache, don't. Just shave that thing off right now. Anyways, back into their actual interview. First they opened with some good news that they're planning on getting remarried. They kind of feel like because they got married during COVID, many of their friends and family weren't able to participate, and they want to have a wedding ceremony with everybody there. And I gotta admit, I like that. It is a very special day, very special moment that you want to share with people in your life, and to not have that opportunity, getting a second chance, I'm all for it. We still are at the start of this interview, still at the point where Ryan has not said "I love you." Sounded like they were at least 6 months since getting married when this reunion took place. So that's over half a year together where Ryan still hasn't said "I love you." But apparently all they needed was Kevin to put a little bit of pressure on Ryan, because all of a sudden he's just lobbing out "I love yous" like they're candy. It was like I had that 30-second thought, like, wow, he still hasn't said "I love you" that yet, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I love you. Very, very bizarre. And then we got over to the more difficult part of the interview, and that was when Kevin played the clip of Clara having her sex rant to all of the women. That's kind of brutal to just play in front of your significant other. It was very, very awkward to me, and I was scratching my head a little bit, like why is he coming at specifically Ryan so hard? It would didn't and like really like pushing the sex questions, like have you had sex, all of that. And it just felt very different than Eric and Virginia, a couple who I feel do need to answer some of those difficult questions. They just kind of get a free pass while, we're grilling Ryan about the I love yous. We're grilling Ryan and Clara about sex. And I just didn't really like it. Who else have I missed here? Brianna and Vincent. I feel like we just didn't get anything out of that interview, especially like we had Eric and Virginia, easy interview. Clara and Ryan, we get some hard-hitting questions, and then back to Brianna and Vincent, and we get an easy interview again. Like, I think really all I got out of the interview was Vinny's boot camp, which was, very, very weird. Like, Vincent seems like a person all season long who gets embarrassed easy, doesn't want to put himself out of his comfort zone, and there he is, dressed up all ridiculous, putting on this ridiculous boot camp. Just makes you think a little bit more about specifically the salsa dancing and the horseback incident. So he's fine doing the Vinny boot camp, but he's going to have temper tantrums at the other two. But overall, it was good to see Vincent really take responsibility for his behavior on the show, and very much was very apologetic and saying like, that's not what he wants to throw out into the world, not who he wants to be for either himself or his wife. And overall, that was about it from then. Haley and Jacob. Jacob, he didn't even get to be on the show tonight. Haley did. Haley got to throw a couple more jabs at Jacob. Very, very, very silly. Kevin asked her the question basically, hey, you had sex and then your relationship went to crap. Was that the reason why? And it seemed like Haley didn't even understand the question. She's just kind of been doing her same shtick all season long to try to make sure that she has the high ground in the breakup, which always is a sign of a very low-class person, in my opinion. And the behavior and actions that we saw from Haley do line up with that, so not surprised once again. Yeah, also, the ladies were trashing on Jacob a little bit, which I found to be a bit petty. I understand that they're going to side with Haley, but Haley is the type of person who is always seeking someone to agree with her opinion, seeking that validation of her opinion, and just more empowering Haley to just be a fairly classless person through this whole process. All right, that wraps things up for reunion part 1, I guess. I'll be back again next week. I thought we were done this week. Not that I'm complaining about getting another episode, but just feels like they are reaching a little bit too much to drag this out even further. Yeah, as soon as we see that reunion part 1, obviously it's going to be a Chris cliffhanger. Hopefully he does find somebody to fight in the parking lot, and hopefully it doesn't go well for him. I shouldn't say that, but he's just been so frustrating of a person that you do want to slap some sense into him, as bad as that may be to say. But that's where I'm going to wrap things up for this week. Chris is an idiot. We'll talk more about him next week. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you later.